All right, guys, I want to talk to you about everything that you're doing today is programmed. This is something that is a super hard pill to swallow until you really start dissecting it. Your language, your likes and dislike, your political views, your ideology, your ability to do anything is pre-programmed into you from the basically the day that you're born. And at around 6 years old, you have so many of these ideas that are implanted into you. And you start making decisions and doing things and seeing things as the person that's been programmed up to that point. So when you're thinking about getting yourself a new job or you're wanting to make a change in your life that is big or drastic, it is that way only because of your programming. And I want to talk to you guys about some things that you can do to undo this programming. And they're not easy to do until you practice doing them. So, the first thing that you need to do, and one of the hardest things to do, is put down the content that you're consuming on a daily basis. Surround yourself with the positive content, surround yourself with things that you want to be like and not things that you don't want in your life. So if you're watching the news every day and it's making you feel upset or dragging you down or you're thinking the world is ending, the only way to get rid of that is to turn that off. You have to sit down your phones, sit down your computers, iPads, whatever you're using to consume, and start deleting things from your life that aren't serving the purpose that you're on today. Some things that have been programmed into me that I've removed over the last few years is I used to watch Netflix. I used to play a ton of video games, and I would just, on the weekend, I would come home, put on whatever was on, whatever everybody was talking about. This new show came out. And you hear that because, as you'll notice, people that actually aren't moving towards their goals are constantly talking about things that they're consuming instead of things that they are creating. So the last show that I watched that I can truly remember that I was into was Ozark. I watched the first season of Ozark, and everybody's talking about it at work. You see it online everywhere. People are talking about it on the news. Every people that you watch, everything I was consuming. But keep in mind that my consumption and what I was hearing was based on that's what I was attracting into my life. So now when somebody asks me about, have you seen that new show? I have no idea what they're talking about. Whether you believe it or not, that information is being installed into you and programmed into you. So maybe you watch an entire show and doesn't seem like you were programmed with anything, but you're seeing ads for things in that show. You're seeing product placements. You're seeing ideology placed in that because these are multi-billion-dollar companies putting in information. I'm not saying that they're working for evil. I'm saying they're working for their best interest. So they want to grow their business. They want to become a larger business. And so you need to understand that that's something that you're up against when you're watching these shows. Let me give you an example of something in the real world that Disney World does that would make you go, I mean, it's just amazing because this is something that you wouldn't do if you had a small business, okay? So when you're walking through Disney World, and I just came back from there, they have a color green. I'm forgetting the name of it right now. I think it's Don't Go There Green. That's the color, right? So they hired and did research on colors to figure out what color makes people turn away. So when there's an area like a trash can or somewhere they don't want you to go, they paint it, don't go there green, right? This is programming on a level that we don't even think about. I mean, I don't think about it. Maybe some of you out there do, but I don't think about colors as in something that's programming me. Pay attention to your surroundings. And I mean that as in digital surroundings, because you are a product of your digital surroundings. So used to, you were a product of the people that you were surrounded with. In 2022, you're a product of your digital surroundings more than you are the product of who you're surrounding yourself with. We're going to talk about real quick your programming at a job. Major companies understand, they research the programming. They're looking at you in your job. They know, what everybody is going to sell, what everybody is going to consume. They're looking at a lot of different analytics on everything that's done within their company. But one of the main things that they do is big companies make a lot of changes. They will build something out, bring it back in, shift to a different position, change the name of a position. And all of this is to make sure that your programming doesn't get locked into a very small set of things. They want you to be expanding and growing and changing along with your career so you can learn different things and do different things. They want you to constantly learn. And if you'll notice, big companies will repeat the information over and over again that they want you to learn. And you're like, we just talked about this. How are we still talking about it? Well, they know that you have to reprogram your programming in order to learn it, because people only pick up 5 to 10% of what they've heard in like an hour-long meeting. So your programming is a very big part of your journey. Figure out what your current programming is. Figure out what you want to do, where you want to be headed, and figure out between those two things that the things that don't line up, and start moving towards making those small changes. And you will feel, because where you put your energy, where the energy flows is where things go.
The Unscrewed Mind.